Hi, I'm Charman and welcome to my series of Back to Basic recipes. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to poach chicken in star anise and ginger. Poaching chicken is a great way of cooking it, as you can add lots of flavours as it's cooking. Now for this recipe, I'm going to poach it in chicken stock. Most people would poach things in water, but with the chicken stock, it gives a real rich flavour, but I'm also going to use the poaching liquor for the sauce later. Poaching doesn't have to be really plain and simple. You can poach in milk, you can poach in wine, you can poach in many things, but this is a really nice way of doing it. So I'm just going to find a couple of star anise, which will give it a real aniseedy flavour, and they can go in. And then just some big slices of ginger. I haven't cut it up too small because actually what I want to be able to do is fish all these bits and pieces out at the end. So a good wedge of that can go in. And then a couple of cloves of garlic, which I'm just going to crush. This will give your poaching liquor a delicious flavour and it will be absorbed by the chicken. Now I'm just bringing it up to a nice simmer, and I'm going to add some dark soy sauce. This is much sweeter than light soy, but it's also quite salty. So this will add salt to your stock. So that's in. And then it's really simple. I've just got chicken breasts, no skin, and I'm just going to pop them in there. Now, people will think because it's cooking in basically a watery based sauce that you cannot dry it out. You can. If you rapidly boil this chicken, it's going to dry out and go tough and horrid. So I'm just going to bring it up to a nice little simmer and then simmer it for 10-15 minutes until the chicken is beautiful and tender. For all the recipe details, check out the description box. So I'm just going to have a little check of my chicken, and what you want it to be is nice and firm to the touch. So I think that's almost there. But I'm going to do two things with this poaching liquor now. Some of it I'm going to take and put into a separate saucepan and reduce it down to make a delicious sauce. So I'll get that bubbling. And then the second is I'm going to use some of it to cook my Bok Choy or Pak Choy. So I've just got these, I've just rinsed them under cold water, and I'm going to cut them in half. So the leaves cook really quickly and the stalks take a little bit longer. So I haven't got my pan absolutely burning hot because I just want them to take on a little bit of colour and a little bit of flavour, but without scorching and burning the leaves. I'm going to just pop my chicken out onto a clean plate and just leave it to rest. Most people think resting is only needed when you roast something or pan fry it, but it's been in hot liquid. It just needs to relax a little bit before you cut it. So I'm just going to get rid of this out of the way and turn that heat off. So these are just starting to soften up slightly and take on a little bit of colour. Give it another minute. Right, so it's just taking on a tiny bit of colour, and that's all I want. And now there's going to be a lot of noise and a lot of steam, but it's a perfect way of cooking veg. I never actually boil vegetables really, only on the odd occasion. I tend to do it like this with a little bit of oil, pan fry it, even carrots, broccoli, and then steam it with normally a little bit of water, but I'm just going to use a little bit of this stock. So for once there's going to be a moment of silence from me because you won't be able to hear me. As that bubbles and all the water evaporates, you're going to get a really beautiful sauce, and it just adds some flavour into the Bok Choy. So I'm just going to turn them over just to get a little bit of heat on the other side. And as you can see, this is reducing down and it's going to come beautiful and sticky and almost glaze the Bok Choy. So I'm going to turn off my Bok Choy now, and then I'm just going to add a little dash of sesame oil, not too much. And then a sprinkling of sesame seeds, not too many because I'm also going to top the dish with them, but they'll just warm through and toast in the residual heat in the pan. Just going to slice this chicken a little bit. Remember to go across the grain to make it nice and tender. So I'm going to put a little bit of Bok Choy on the plate, some of the chicken, possibly won't put all of it on. And then I'm just going to spoon over some of this sauce. Now, if you like the look of this recipe, why not click on the subscribe button where there are loads more. So a little bit of the sauce, almost like a broth or a soup. And then just to finish it off, a scattering of sesame seeds. They just add a little bit of crunch. And for those of you that like a little bit of heat, a little red chilli to go along with it. And there you have it, poached chicken with star anise and ginger with the lovely sesame bok choy. I hope you've enjoyed this recipe and I look forward to seeing you next time.